Now, I think this is now working.
Great. Hi.
I just need to just hold on one sec just to make sure. If you're on Facebook, and you can do the same. And then once we see that on Facebook, then we can.
Do you mean Instagram? Should I open my Facebook on here as well then?
No, it's okay. I'll open Facebook. Once
And
I see Facebook, then you can click the Instagram. Yes, we're live. Hello, everybody. Do you want? We are going live on multiple platforms, hence the fact. Currently, we are live Conversations with Dionne, and special guest is live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram as of now. Today, I'm here with Catrin Osborne. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, Catrin Osborne, yeah.
With my dyslexia, I always have to ask. So thank you very much. And thank you very much for joining me here. Really, really do appreciate it. So my audience would like to know what it is that you do while we're here and what we will be discussing today. So let me just go ahead and introduce you, Catrin. Catrin, who's a neurodiverse.
Okay. Do you want to join me on Instagram? Because I've got people coming in. So just quickly, and then we can start. Yeah.
We've already started. We're already live.
We
are live, darling. So press whatever buttons you want to press. We are live. People are watching right now on other channels.
You were going to join on Instagram though, so it was two of us on the screen. So you just need to go onto my Instagram and join.
Oh, darn it. I forgot about that aspect. So while I do that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask Catrin to just introduce herself.
So my name's Catrin Osborne. I'm a neurodiverse multidisciplinary artist. I've made an exhibition after having a difficult experience of menopause myself. I made an exhibition last year that toured the UK. Well, I've been taking the pictures really since 2019. But the exhibition itself went from early 2022, and it toured London, to London, POW Festival in Thanet, the Arnolfini in Bristol, Silk Mills in Frome, up to Greater Manchester, Rochdale, Touchstones, a place called in Faversham called the Hot Tin, which is a lovely little venue that does a lot of music stuff. We went to the Horsebridge Arts Centre in Whitstable and Sheffield Museums, which was fantastic. I hope I haven't missed anywhere out. Oh yeah, Margate Arts Club.
That's amazing, absolutely amazing. Before we go on, please tell me what button we're supposed to be pressing on Instagram. I'm there now, but I don't see the button for accept.
I think I've taken you in now. You're in, lovely. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
You've joined. So you should pop up now on this.
Yeah. Hello, everybody on Insta. Welcome.
Oh, hi, everyone. This is Dionne.
So those that haven't been introduced to me, my name is Dionne. I'm a menopause coach, and today I'm here interviewing Catrin about her work. Those on my channels I've just heard about her exhibition, but first of all, I would like to ask, how did that come about? What inspired you to do this?
So I am an artist, and my background is more like performance, and I went to Central St Martin's and did an MA in performance design and practice when I was 36. But I then at 44, 45 started having these symptoms that I just didn't understand. Headaches, really bad insomnia, sort of hot flushes from the bottom all the way up that were causing the headaches. My mental health deteriorated. I got very anxious to the point where I rode a little moped around London, and I ended up selling it because I was just too anxious. It was like I changed. I lost a lot of confidence.
So you feel safe on the road driving your moped?
Yeah, it was weird. I sort of felt like someone was going to go into the back of me. It was like really illogical. It wasn't like the me that used to ride that moped, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then I was working in the wellness industry quite a lot as a yoga teacher and speaking to older women. And to be fair, you know, they, I guess, had read the headlines and they sort of said, maybe don't go on HRT because it has a risk attached to it. So I guess in the end, I did try quite a lot of alternative therapies, which I think are great. So I tried aromatherapy was one, probably. Acupuncture was a big one that I did for quite a while, that kept me going for quite a while, which was brilliant. Cold water swimming, things like that. But in the end, those things didn't work for me personally. I think for some people, maybe they do, but for me, I think maybe because I'm neurodiverse, I've got ADHD. It was quite severe.
So
And
tell me about how you feel, or your belief of how your neurodiverse ADHD diagnosis plays in with the menopause ailments. Is there any ailments that are similar, and therefore you question, is this the menopause or is this my neurodiverse?
I think, Dionne, basically a lot of women find out they're neurodiverse in perimenopause, partly because when we were young in the 70s and 80s, you couldn't really be like ADHD if you were a girl, you know, so it was an unknown, for one. For two, I've read somewhere that because ADHD is to do with low dopamine levels, the hormone changes can affect that. Definitely in terms of sleep, I think everyone experiences ADHD differently in the same way that everyone experiences menopause differently, Dionne. But I think for me, sleep was a big factor, and that played out in both, you know, and that's why I think the sleep thing was so bad for me.
So how many hours were you getting per night?
Some nights I just wasn't able to sleep at all, Dionne. I was, you know, really struggling with it, and it was like I started dreading going to bed, and sitting up in the living room when my partner at the time went to bed, and just thinking, here we go, here goes the night, I'm not going to be able to sleep, what's the point in even trying?
So when you realized when you got the diagnosis, when it became really clear that you were actually now transitioning into the menopause, are you on medication for your ADHD? And how did you have to balance what you're taking for menopause and what you're taking for your ADHD? How do you balance the two? Did you find that you needed to take more of one?
So I haven't got my diagnosis yet. I've been through quite a lot of the stages now because I'm doing it through the NHS and it takes quite a long time. On Tuesday, I'm actually going to a psychiatrist for like the final stage.
Is this for your diagnosis for ADHD, you mean?
Yeah. So at the moment, I don't have the diagnosis, but I'm pretty sure that is what I've got. I even get support from the Arts Council with an access support worker who supports me, helping me write it. They allow you to do that without having a medical diagnosis if you feel that you've got this, you know. And it tends to be people that struggle with, or some of the symptoms can be sleep disturbances, hyperactivity in some people, but ADD is without the hyperactivity. People who perhaps find it, who have got, it's a very spiky profile. So in some ways you're really quick-witted and quick off the mark, you know, it almost sort of quite more quick than most. But in other ways, like organization, they call it executive functioning, can be lower. So getting yourself together. So for example, you know, things being organized with your desktop or your computer, or, you know, lateness can be a problem because you can be ready to go out and then you can lose your keys. And it really does sound like
that plays into the menopause, doesn't it? Because we become more forgetful. You know, where my keys is just like, it's just like the daily task. It's like we might spend about half an hour looking for our keys every single day if we've gone out about 2 to 3 times. So matching that with something else that gives you that, I can imagine your world was turned upside down when you became menopausal, having already lived through this undiagnosed but very obvious condition of ADHD. So tell us how that played into you being inspired enough to actually make this work of art of featuring 70 women into this exhibition about the menopause. What drove you to, was it the lack of sleep? Was it wanting a voice? Was it wanting to express? What spurred that on?
So I basically got myself eventually, I reached out to my family at this time when I wasn't getting any sleep, because I was starting to see things in bushes, you know, colours and lights, and I thought, this isn't good. I'm not in a good place. I almost felt like, what's the point in me being here? I'm not in a good place. I'm not coping. So I reached out to family and friends, and they said, just get on HRT ASAP. So I did. And within about 2 days, I'm on the estrogel and the progesterone. I felt better and started to get my sleep back. Obviously, it took a while to sort of regain my confidence, but I started to think, is there other women out there in the UK and all over the world probably, but I was in the UK, going through a similar experience and feeling as lonely and as isolated as I was. And that was when I decided to put out like a call out for women to come forward to talk to them.
And how many came forward? Was it 70? Did everybody who came forward ended up being in your exhibition?
So initially it was just before I got the funding, I did the project without funding, just to see what was going out there. I didn't really have a plan for it. I just wanted to go and meet some women. So initially I met 24, took 2 photos of each on my iPhone in their happy places. Because I had this thing of like, we still have happy places and we need to maybe reconnect with those happy places. And everyone's story is different. And I interviewed everyone about their positives and negatives of their menopause experience. Serena Babowski, who is on Instagram, so she might see this, then said to me, do you want to do an exhibition at a night we're doing in London, in Hackney, because I lived in Hackney at the time, called Bad Fruit. And it's a women's night where everything is by women and it's performance mostly, but they show photos and art and whatever's people want to bring forward to the table. So it was like a tryout night. So yeah, that was the first exhibition, and that was in September 2019, just with these 24 initially.
Awesome. And what type, because you're multidisciplinary, so besides the photography,
yes,
is there other elements? What other materials do you use within this exhibition to express these women's voices?
so it kind of harks back to I did a degree in social sciences when I was sort of 20 in Leeds, and it sort of harks back to that, really, to sort of the idea of interviewing everyone and just putting their name, where they're from, if they're comfortable with it, just first name, you know, age, what they do, and then just the pictures. And then it was some writing that I edited down. So I suppose because I'm a writer as well, I suppose my writing came into it because of the editing side of it. And I also got some support with that as well, some other people that I knew. But yeah, that was what was involved, really. And then when we talk about the next stage, there is some other elements that I'll tell you about, Dionne. But
Yes, you can move on to that, because I know that I don't know if you actually want to do that tour again and reach other places in the UK that you haven't done. And secondly, I know the next stage, which is where you're at now, is that you're compiling this work that you've done so far into a book. Is that right?
yeah, so the next stage, just in brief, was that I then, during the pandemic, like a lot of people, I was out of work, a bit fed up, in the corner of the living room with a screen, you know, around my desk, trying to generate work for the future. And I applied for an Arts Council application to tour the show, and I booked a tour. I've booked a tour before because I've directed a show with Circus Theatre and music called Birdie in 2015, because my background is circus. And I quite like booking tours. Apparently, by the way, Dionne, booking tours is an ADHD thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you get a booking, you get a dopamine hit. So it's like, it's kind of, a lot of people that have got ADHD tend to be good at it. This is what I heard. And I definitely do enjoy it. It's something I enjoy. It's almost like betting, you know, on the horses or something. You know, it's kind of like, you tell somebody you've got this venue and that venue on board, and do they want to come on board as well? You know, it's kind of
Taking the risk and the gamble.
a little bit like that. Yeah, exactly. And then together with an access support worker called Ruth, who, bless her, had kids at home and everything, and she was working, you know, she had the kids, she was homeschooling the kids, she had the Zoom on, we were doing it all via Zoom. We put in this application and we were successful. And it was for the whole project was, you know, again, we had to do a crowdfunder, and we also did an arts council, and it was, the whole project was quite big. It was like £40,000 managed. I had to manage a budget of about that amount. I set out around the UK to photograph women. I had to obviously find the women first. So, you know, finding ways to find women that were as diverse as possible was very, very important to me. I used a wheel of diversity to sort of check in with making sure that I was getting as many different backgrounds of women, different classes, different cultures, different skin tones, different backgrounds, you know, jobs, working class, middle class, upper class, educated, uneducated, so many different women and all their stories. And yeah, it was exhausting in a way, but brilliant as well. I loved talking to all the women. We planned in advance. In a way, it brought in my set design, because my course was like a kind of set design course. So it was about finding that happy place and sort of setting them in that to take the photo. And we did that collaboratively I did it with each person I met collaboratively, and it was like a joint thing. And obviously I had to get permissions off everyone formally. Everyone got offered a nominal amount, £50 for their time, which came out of the funding. Some people put that back kindly into the project. Some, you know, took it, which, because not everyone can afford to give their time.
Yeah. So in reference to the book, would you say that if you missed out and actually seen the tour of this exhibition, one can actually catch up with it, like on video, watching it on replay, they can catch up with it by getting a copy of this book that you're getting collated all around the exhibition and then published. Is that right?
Yeah. I think anyone who's going into the experience that I was going into when I was, say, 44, 45, I'm 50 now, and they feel isolated and alone and they want to connect with other women, it hasn't been made yet, but we've got a reputable publishing company on board, a contract and everything. We're just dependent on getting this funding to make sure it happens.
So tell us about why you need this funding when you've got a grant coming through, because some people won't understand that.
Yeah, so we've applied for the grant. The grant has gone in on International Women's Day. We've been working on it for about a year and a half. Me and my access support worker, Lara, who's down here in Ramsgate with me, she runs a thing called Screaming Alley down here. She's amazing. She's actually one of the women I photographed.
That's great.
She actually got on HRT because of the exhibition. She learned about it, you know. A lot of the women I work with now are women that I photographed. So the grant is for 10% of so basically with the Arts Council now, you have to put 10% in of your own money. So this 3,300 is the 10% that I have to put in to be able to, you know, for them to consider
Get the rest.
My application. Yeah.
So say for example, you're able to raise these £3,000, but which you've raised, what is it, 1,000 and something so far?
I think it's on.
How much have you raised so far? Just on average, you don't have to look.
62%. So I think it's 2,050 so far.
Yeah. So you need another 1,000, would you say?
Just over, yeah, by
Just
next
over a grand.
by
So
next
by next week, I know it's quite tight, but if you could raise that amount, 1,500, and therefore get the 30-odd grant that you want, what will you be doing with that money? What is next? How does that get put into the book? Where, how much does that get in reference to publishing of the book, marketing of the book? Who's going to be, would you say this book is for, and why does a person, or is it specifically for women, need it in their hand? Because is it correct to say that all this money that you're trying to raise and get from the Art Council is going directly into this book, or is it going into the book as well as another exhibition?
So
Tell me why people should say yeah and donate.
Some of it is going into me and Tindara, who made a film, which I was going to mention. So I photographed Tindara, met her, we got on, and she lives in Margate and I live in Ramsgate. And she made a short film which went into the exhibition, which was like another layer of depth, you know, that I added to the exhibition. And it was brilliant. And it included both our mums. It's like 11 minutes long. It's brilliant. You can just sit. At some of the venues, we just sat and watched it as a group. Some of the venues, it was there with headphones on. We also made a film of all the pictures, so like a projected version. If anyone's familiar with Nan Golding's work, she uses a lot of, so like the photos are shown. She uses music, but we use the voices of the women over the top.
That sounds powerful.
So part of the funding is to pay for me and Tindara to tour 5 bigger galleries with those films. We prefer the films now because we think they're more sustainable in terms of not driving a van around, you know, with all the pictures in and the money it costs to put it all up and everything. It's also nice to watch it as a shared experience with a group of women. There's something quite nice about that. The galleries we've got are home in Manchester. We're hoping the Turner Gallery, First Fridays in Margate, Laurent Delay Gallery down here in Ramsgate, in collaboration with Hold, who will probably show the film. We're hoping to either hire the Bishopsgate Institute, or they might programme us if they like it, they're interested. And in Sheffield, we've been talking to Off the Shelf Festival. And yeah, so it's a case of basically, and the Arnolfini in Bristol. And it's a case of it'll also pay for me to take photos of another 30 people who we identified were sort of left out of the picture in terms of diversity. So that includes trans men and people who experience the menopause. So they might call themselves women with an X, or they might call themselves trans men, but they will have, you know, bled and then stopped bleeding. They might be non-binary people. 5 of those, 5 either gypsies and people who live like in trucks and on the road, and sort of maybe one person that lives perhaps in a boat. We want to get that demographic. 5 women who live in institutions, which, you know, I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to make that happen, but I think it's really important. 5
institutions such as,
you know, like who've got mental health issues, and 5 women who are in prison. And also homeless women, so through a homeless agency, an agency that supports homelessness down in Margate, hopefully. And also post-menopausal women we want to represent, so women who've been through it and almost like come out the other side and can sort of talk about that.
Yeah, it would give hope to those that are going through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in and around this video, ladies and gentlemen, there is a link where you can jump on board and you can help this cause and donate anything you know, there's a vast amount of different levels that you can donate, and therefore pick one that, you know, that suits you, that you're comfortable with. But as you can see, this is a very powerful message and it needs to be out there. And so please help as much as you can, spread the word. Spread this video, share it, post it, like it, heart it, fire flames, hugs, kisses. We want it all, because we want to support as many women as we can and get their voices out. Is there anything else you would like to share before I ask you some quick fire round questions that's got absolutely nothing to do with why we're doing this live, nothing to do with your work, but just so that the audience can get to know you? Katrina.
I just wanted to say thank you for interviewing me, Dionne, because you don't really know me, and you've kind of done a really lovely interview. You've got a really nice vibe, and you're really on it in the way that I'm not, as in like with all your live streaming and, you know, so just thank you, because it's helping me get the word out there, and that's really important at the moment, because I'm quite tired. Not that I'm complaining, because I know I'm lucky that I can be an artist, but it's, people don't realize how much work goes into even just getting the fundraising together. So I just need to lie down in a minute and just have a rest.
I hear you and I understand. So before you go,
Yeah, but go ahead.
lying down, we want to picture you with either of these. Are you a coffee or tea person?
Coffee.
Are you cat or dog?
I've got a dog in the background. You might even be able to see her there. She's asleep.
We don't want to offend her as well, so we will say dog.
Definitely dog. I used to have a cat, but I've gone on to the other side since I got married.
What was the last song you played on repeat?
Oh, the one you can what is it about? Oh, you can buy me, I can buy myself flowers, is it? I can buy myself flowers. I love that. I think it's brilliant. It's all about just self-love, you know, self-care, not needing to be with anyone. I live on my own at the moment, just with my dog. So that song suits me at the moment.
Oh, favorite movie?
Oh, there is definitely one. Oh, I'm just going to pluck one out of the sky now. Little Miss Sunshine. I love the little girl in it. She's so quirky.
I don't know that one. Who's in it?
Oh gosh, there's quite a few people in it. It's set in Australia, and they all go off in a camper van, and the girl's called Olive, and she's a bit fatter, you know, than the other children, but she ends up winning a singing competition or coming second or something. There are some famous people in it. The uncle, I think, is mentally ill, and they're just quite a quirky family.
Yeah, sounds interesting. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
If you could have done anything differently in the pandemic when it all, just hit in 2020, what would you have done differently?
Not worried so much about money, because in the end it did all work out with, getting some money from the government and stuff like that.
Yeah. What was the last show, or what are you currently, or just finished binge watching on TV or streaming?
Oh, definitely Happy Valley. Oh, and The Accident. I don't know if anyone's seen that. That's really good as well. That's got the same actress in it.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's set in South Wales, which is where my family originally are from, like a couple of generations up. And it's just so gripping. I binge watched the whole thing in one night. It's 4 episodes. It's called The Accident, and it's got Sarah Lancaster. Is it Sarah Lancaster or Sarah Lancashire? Who's in Happy Valley. It's got her in it. But everyone else in it is from South Wales. And it's quite hard hitting, but it's really good story. It keeps you gripped,
Yeah. What's your love language?
Touch.
PC or Apple?
Apple, definitely. I'm really bad on PCs, although I do have both. But yeah, I'm on my Apple at the moment.
And lastly, is there a question that I haven't asked you that you wished I had?
Oh, you could maybe, what's my favorite thing to get rid of menopause symptoms?
Yes.
Diving into the sea, because I moved down by the sea to be near the sea so that I could just dive in every day and cool myself down.
Cold water swimming. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you so much, Dionne. You're an absolute star.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So you're a star because I forgot to do the Instagram live bit. focusing on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So you're a star in reference to setting that up, and I really, really do appreciate it. And we've got Gorman Health and Wellness, who I follow, has just joined us. Hopefully this will stay up for 24 hours. And if I can figure out to keep it on my feed, I will do, so that you can watch the replay. Thank you so much for those who have joined live, dipped in and out. For those that are watching on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, we appreciate you too. And I love doing these interviews on a Friday, even though sometimes it kind of makes my Fridays a little bit long, so I might be moving it to a Wednesday, but I like to do something like this once a week. So if you feel that you've got a message for menopausal women, if you feel that you've got something to share that could help a woman in the middle years of her life before she enters into her third trimester, or is trying to live vibrantly within her third trimester, then please get in touch with Dionne here. We'd love to have you. But please check out the fundraising link so that this menopause book and this menopause tool can happen to reach more cities, because we need the voices of menopause women shared so that both genders can understand, because when both genders understand and we're all on the same page, our relationships are so much more happier, juicier, and maintained. So I really like to push that. Thank you so much, Catrin, for coming on. I really appreciate you. Enough love and respect. And from my heart to yours, everybody, thank you very much and goodbye for now.
Thanks, Dionne. Thank you.
Catrin, please stay on Zoom, and goodbye to everybody else.